Hi, I'm Kee Chan. I play Russell Tan in Kung Fu, and I'm with Pop Culture with Pat.
Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So today we're going to be talking a little kung fu with Russell Tan himself. We have Kee Chan on the show. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Totally my pleasure, Pat. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm really excited to talk to you. Just caught up on the show. So, but first, I always ask this for first time, guest of the channel. So, for you, because you've had a storied career up to this point. What going back? What kind of got you started? What was the inspiration for you to get into acting in the first place?
Um, you know, as a child, as a kid, as an 8-year-old, I think like everybody else, all the other kids, we always fantasized about being in movies and being things you saw on the screen, but not, of course, we didn't contemplate it as a career because you're just musing about it. It was all in the back of my beginning, but being Asian, I was taught by my mom and dad, you had to be a doctor, you had to be a dentist, you had to be a lawyer, you must study really hard and everything like this. And these are the things you must respectably do. So it never entered my head as a kid, as a teen even, because you just have to follow, the rules. Um, I went into business with a friend later, as an adult, and we went bust. And I had nothing, to lose. Everything was taken away from me. And a friend was going to a party, some kind of party, so he dragged me along, and I had no idea what it was. And this guy comes up to me at this party whom I knew nobody, and he said to me, he was kind of tipsy, and he said, "So what do you do? Do you work in film and television?" I said, "Oh no, I don't." Then he said, "Well, you should." And off he went. He vanished. You know, just that. So I thought, okay, I don't know anybody. He's the first guy to talk to me. Better look him up. So I went up to him. I said, "You asked me about that. So why?" And he said, "Well, look, talk to me tomorrow. Here's my phone number." So I called him the next day, and he said, "Who are you?" I said, "Well, you gave me a phone number, about this." "No, I didn't." "Yes, you did." Short story was, to get rid of me, he called an agent and asked her to see me, just for her to see if she wants me or not, or whatever it is, just chat. It's not about taking on. She liked me. She took me on. She was an extras agent, and that's how I started.
Oh wow, that's a really cool story to get started. Yeah, it's just kind of I guess like right place at the right time.
Yes, especially when I just had hit rock bottom.
Yeah, and everything. I mean, everything happens, for a reason. So it's so crazy how I've talked to a number of different people, over the past like couple of years,
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
hearing all the stories just completely different. But sometimes it's just just that right place and that right time. And right now, you're so you're currently playing the big bad Russell Tan on the current series of Kung Fu. So I was really really excited to talk to you about this. What what was it about this character and this show that attracted you to this project?
I did not know much about the character when I was offered this role. Uh, I started off at the end of season one where Russell Tan was introduced, and then I appeared in 12 and 13, as you know, and then we went into season two. So I had no idea what was ahead of me because I didn't know what they're going to write. But it was very challenging in a good way because in the first episode I realized, oh my gosh, this is such a really super bad guy. What am I going to do? You know, um, I got my teeth into it because I love the challenge of creating something so bad. He was written two-dimensionally bad at that stage, and to make him relatable on some level, because you can hate somebody, but you can hate a character that is so strongly. But I've said this before. Even villains are someone's child. They're someone's brother, someone's sister, someone's father or mother. They were somebody's baby.
Yeah,
you know and it's just like during life they took their own independent route. But at the end of the day, they have all the qualities which we have, of love, honor, hopefully, and all those warm, googly things like vulnerability, the need to be needed, loved. So I wanted to, I didn't have to, but I wanted to humanize this character especially as the episodes went on. He got more controversial, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, you definitely have to do that to make, I mean, make any character like interesting. You know, if they're only,
Mm-hmm.
two dimensional, it's like, well, why would I care about this character? You have to find some aspect that you're able to latch, yourself as an audience member onto that character. So, I mean, was it challenging to relate to this character, especially like you said, when he was initially written and you saw those like kind of like the early drafts of that character? Was it hard to relate to him, or?
I put a lot of myself in the good parts of him. I mean, I put a lot of humanity in the good parts of him. For example, his relationships with, his family, his son and his daughter. But of course, they were very complex relationships. No relationships, family relationships are perfect. This is far from perfect. And as it evolved, I was able to put in other threads of his not good parts into it. But as you will see, as
Yep.
as it evolves, he does many turns, and his depth of darkness was something I actually enjoyed creating, because I could go places I never allowed to even think of, as a human, and bring those things life in a fantastical way.
And that's one of the things for me. Like, I mean, obviously it has, the elements. You have like the kung fu aspect, there's a lot of action scenes and things like that. But for me, I found myself watching this show, the family aspect of the show, and you see a bunch of different, whether it's the main family, your Russell's family, several other characters like on the show. Just see how all those characters interact, their relationships. I know, we've only started to see, I guess, like the tip of what the Tan family, how they interact, what the relationships are like, but to you, without obviously giving away like any kind of spoilers, what does family mean to Russell?
First of all, Russell is obsessed with power and domination and dominating. Um, of course, at the end, at the very root of him, he has these two kids with whom he has a very complex relationship. He loves his daughter very much. His son is a different kind of character from, him. And so like a father-son relationship is rather complicating.
Yeah, I'll say just from what we've seen so far, you definitely can see that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, as far as because I mean, this is based off another show originally, which I haven't gotten a chance to see the original series. So how familiar, were you with the original series, and was it challenging for you? I know sometimes they shoot episodes like out of order. So was it challenging for you coming into this show later into the first season?
Challenging only is a personal matter, because to be dropped into the middle of a show which has already bonded, where the cast and crew have already bonded, you are dropped into the middle of a family, and it is very disconcerting at the very least. But fortunately, everyone was very warm, very inviting, very cordial, and by the start of season two, season two, I felt like family, and I was able to work very well and with abandon. Totally, it was wonderful.
And I mean, that always makes things easier when you have a cast and crew like that welcome a new character into the fold where they've already been working on something for a period of time. So that's always good to hear.
There's another thing though, Pat, when you are so warmly held, when they trust you so much and you become, part of a little group, the family thing, the larger or the smaller, it gives you so much creative freedom, because you don't have fear anymore. You don't feel judged, and you can do anything. You can go anywhere creatively without looking over your shoulder.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so did that, as far as exploring this character, Russell, did that allow, so it kind of gave you more creative freedom, and you felt more willing to take risk with this character that maybe you might not have if you didn't have his welcoming environment?
Absolutely. I can't say anymore. Wait till you see the latter part of season 2, I hope you will like what I did, not necessarily
Yeah,
like Russell.
yeah, no, I can't wait for sure. And were you, as far as like the original series, were you familiar like with the original Kung Fu show like at all?
Not really. I did watch a few things on the black and white television, but I was very, very young. So it did not actually penetrate me,
Okay.
But I was mesmerized by it because that age, I thought it felt out of this world. It was mystical for me.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. Coming into this show, you didn't really. It sounds like you didn't really have any preconceived notions of what the show was really like. So you were kind of coming
No,
to this as a with a fresh mind.
correct. Hmm. I did relate a little bit of it because of the different characters and the different races in it in the original one. But that was as a child, and you watch something like this, Pat, with wonderment without dissecting it.
Yeah, I would say watch something as a kid, and then you can come back to that thing years on later as a teenager and adult, and you see it from a completely different aspect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, so your character, so Russell, he's built up to be this really bad guy towards the end of season one. You have what was written by the writers of the show, but you kind of talked about this a little bit. What was important for you personally that you wanted to bring to this character? Yeah, I know you kind of mentioned sound like some characters that you have with like your like family.
What was important for me to bring to the character from the very beginning, which I thought of, was that people had to believe in him, believe in this character was real, not so bizarre that it's unbelievable. They had to believe that this guy could exist, but also, if they didn't like him, at least to feel some kind of compassion or something about him, towards him, for what he was going through and what he was doing as a human. When they see in the episodes that he's a father, he has a daughter, he has a son, and he has a daughter he loves very much, and he is so human when he relates with her.
So even if you don't necessarily agree with everything that Russell might be doing as far as his overall plan and stuff like that, you can still see he has a son, he has a daughter, he comes from a family, so you can at least attach to those aspects.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And even the way he relates, even in the worst of the times, there he has humanity in him sometimes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's all about power for him. But he does make a lot of enemies, though.
I was just gonna say, so it had to be fun, for you coming into the show. You kind of got teased a little bit, towards the middle, towards the end of the show. Your name was dropped a couple times, and then to have your character built up and then make your big debut. Fine, like we see a little bit at that one point where you're on the phone, but finally in the season finale. So, what can you just talk a little bit about filming, like the season finale, what that was like?
I was still very new to the production. It was only my, second week or so. I was still intimidated by everybody. And so I just was very quiet, especially on the open. And I just did my job, although it didn't come across like that on the screen. But even the other guest actors who were with me were very, very accommodating. They were very warm, very cordial, because they were in the same position as well.
Yeah, I mean the set that you guys where you were, filming, that it looked like a beautiful set.
It was stunning. There was so much detail, in the outdoors, which was all created. It
Wow.
was a set. It was a set, except the mountains. The set mountains wasn't a set. It was the real background.
Yeah.
And I was blown away by the attention to detail and the way the crew was so invested personally in this production to make it a good thing, to make a good production.
How long did it for like that episode? Like how long did it take for you guys to, film everything that last final, or at least I guess the scenes that you were in?
Well, the scenes I was in, I was there for it was probably about 3 or 4 day shoot.
Okay. So it was pretty intense like shoot. There was a lot going on. You had all these different characters showing up. You had the the big fight between the two characters up there like on the hill too. So
yes, Russell may have done some fighting, but that was my wonderful stunt double Johnson do. He did all the work, and he did it so well, people believed it was me.
Did you coming into the show? So I mean, you were brought in towards the end. Teased, like I said, those last like kind of like couple episodes. When you were brought on, did you know that your character was going to be coming back? I mean, because we had that tease towards the end of the episode. Did you know that you were coming back, or was that kind of something that they told you afterwards?
No, I did not know he was coming back because it could have just ended like this. It could as a tease, sure, but he doesn't mean he would exist after that.
Yeah.
Because yes.
So what were I'm curious, just like what were like the I mean, without going into the further plans of season 2, but what were just like I guess those conversations like when you first found out that you were coming back for season 2?
There was no real conversation. I was booked for season 2 and I started. And I thought, what have I got myself into? Because I did not know his direction, but that was the best part. I just could go and create someone all by myself, and it was wonderful. I hope you guys like it though.
Yeah, I'll say so far, we've gotten a couple episodes, so I can't wait to see how the rest of the season, plays out. Now, as far as without like spoiling anything, can you give fans just a tease of what can we kind of expect from the rest of the season and look forward to just in general?
Ooh, I think you should expect the unexpected, because there was 2 for me, because as each script arrived, it raised the bar so high for me to reach. The writing was phenomenal. The writing team was phenomenal. They gave me material. They challenged me with material, and I rose to it. And I hope they liked what I did. But same with the audience. I hope that they will be mesmerized by the direction Russell takes.
I like that. I like that tease. And yeah, I feel like, especially where last season was the first season of the show, I feel like as, more time, the writers and stuff, they have like more time, the showrunners, really kind of like hitting their groove. So I feel like a lot of times you get into that, that second season and it's like everyone's, they've been working together, for a little while now. So, and I feel like you get those episodes where it's like, oh, this is like, one week you think this is the best episode. And then the following week, something happens in the following episode and you're like, oh, okay, this is my favorite episode of the series so far. So just expect, it sounds like a lot of twists and turns, coming up, big surprises for the rest of the season too.
Big surprises even for me each time I got a new script.
Yeah, and I know usually I've heard that in the past where it's like sometimes you guys, you don't know anything until it's like you literally get the script and it's like close to shooting the actual episode.
Exactly, precisely. We don't get a script until I don't get a script until just a week before, and that's where that's where I realized I got a lot of work to do, more than the last one.
Well, Kee, is there, to wrap things up for you, because I know you got a busy schedule. So is there anything else that you just want to say to the fans of the shows so far watching Kung Fu, and where can, for as far as things you can speak on, where can fans kind of catch you next?
Well, hopefully they can catch me next with you. On this Pop Culture with Pat podcast. I would love that.
That's it. I'm really excited to see where the show goes for the rest of the for the season. And hey, I mean, thank you for coming on the show, and you're definitely you're welcome back anytime in the future.
Thank you so much for having me, Pat.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. See you soon. Hi, I'm Kee Chan. I play Russell Tan in Kung Fu, and I'm with Pop Culture with Pat.